Okay, it's we're getting down to the short rows now, and just remember, I make this statement several times every year. It's nothing personal if your bill don't make it to the floor. Where that was, I told the House members the same thing. It's nothing personal. Okay. Chairman Lumsden, would you open us with prayer, please, sir?
Would you bow with me, please? Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love and your goodness to us, for watching over us and caring for us. We thank you for all the many blessings that you've seen fit to send our way. We thank you for the opportunity that you've given to each of us to be here and serve our communities and our state in this way. We just ask that you would give us your wisdom, your guidance, and then give us the will to do it once we understand. We pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, sir. Got a little couple items of business we need to take care of prior to listening to the senators this morning. Do I hear a move to recommit Senate Bill 145? I move in a second, it's gone. Do I hear a move to recommit Senate Bill 222? Move, it's gone. Okay, Senate Bill 145 and Senate Bill 222 have been recommitted to committee. All right. Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to recommit Senate Resolution 214.
I got a second. It's gone. 214 has been recommitted. It's on your general calendar on the yellow sheet. Okay. Senator Kirkpatrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have two bills for you this morning. First is Senate Bill 20. It's the second one on your list today. It's about network adequacy, and it's very straightforward. What it does is give our insurance commissioner the ability to assess network adequacy in our health insurance networks and the tools that he needs to assure compliance with that.
No questions. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. The second one is Senate Bill 155. It's about a third of the way down on the back page. And this one is about cruelty to canine animals. And what it does is three things. It simplifies the definition of a public safety animal. And also it simplifies the categories for harm to a canine that will clear up some conflicts in the law that have been problematic for judges and juries over the last few years.
Mr. Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Kirkpatrick, could a person be convicted for a misdemeanor under this bill if they provide food or water to a rescue animal that they should have known was a rescue animal, if it in any way delays the animal in the performance of its duties?
I'm sorry.
This is a rescue animal.
For SB 155?
Yeah, these are public safety animals,
right,
and search and rescue animals. I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
So I'm wondering, based on some of the vague language on the first part regarding the misdemeanor, whether or not a person could be convicted if they give water or food to a rescue animal that in any way delays the performance of its duties, even if they should have known. I think it's that should have known component that
we actually removed some of the ambiguous language in the bill, and know or should have known is a pretty standard legal term that is part of the reasonable person standard.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. All right, Mr. Williams. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I have Senate Bill 129. This is a very simple bill. Right now, the law is you can let your employer can let the employee off up to 2 hours on election day to go vote. This just does it during early voting, that the employer with the employee requesting they can get up to 2 hours off to go vote. whether it be in the morning or in the afternoon.
Okay. See no questions. Thank you, sir. That's it. Thank you. You make a much better looking senator over there than what we have to look at, so go ahead.
We're going to try to clean them up a little bit.
Oh, good.
Senate Bill 35, first on your sheet, does three simple things. Our Georgia National Guard allows them to put a retired sticker in lieu of their county sticker on their retired tags. Second thing it does, it allows for amateur radio license plate. The third thing it does is it allows our disabled veterans to elect to have a normal tag as opposed to a handicap tag and still receive the TABT tax exemption. That's it.
No questions. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. What's your bill number?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 62. It is not on the blue sheet. Senate Bill 62.
Okay.
It is the homeless bill, Mr. Chairman. Basically, what this bill does is it's three sections. The first section simply says that we're gonna not pick up a homeless person from Cobb County and then take them to Fulton County and drop them off. That was added to the bill. Very good policy. Second section is it says local governments must enforce their street camping bans and start, working to help the homeless and the unsheltered. And the third section is very simple. It's it comes into the fact that the homeless people or any this section will be audited. All departments will be audited, even local government, to find out where all the money is coming into Georgia and where it's going regarding homeless.
Mr. Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Will this bill in any way criminalize the homeless?
This bill changes no laws whatsoever. Whatever's on the books is on the books. It simply says that county governments and cities cannot enforce, they must enforce their street camping ban.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No more questions.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Golly, sir, this is the first time you've been here this year.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Yes, it is.
Okay, go ahead.
I try to save the best for last.
All right, I hear you.
So I've got, three
Remember,
bills.
remember what I said. It's nothing personal. So go ahead.
I hear you. We tell House members that too. Senate Bill 32, Alyssa's Law. Basically, it's an alert monitoring school security bill for schools in Georgia. Senate Bill 45 is a seizure action plan for those with epilepsy or have seizure students in our schools. And Senate Bill 93.
Hold on.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Mr. Park.
I'm getting ahead. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For Senate Bill 32, how many local school systems in Georgia don't have this kind of mobile panic alert system as described in the bill? And how much would it cost, especially rural school counties, to comply?
My understanding is just under half of the schools in Georgia don't have this. Also, in terms of the cost, I think it depends on how they want to contract it out or how they handle those individual situations. I know there's been money in the budget to basically pay for those.
One more question, if I
Yes,
may.
sir.
On lines 32 to 39, it seems to indicate uncertainty as to whether or not there are multiple vendors that sell this technology. Could you provide additional information as to is this going to provide just one vendor, all the contracts, or are there multiple vendors that would allow for competitive bidding?
Yeah, I don't have the bill in front of me, but my understanding is in subcommittee we made an amendment, so basically it should say multiple vendors in it, and if you're a school district that already has the existing technology, you do not have to replace your technology.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, no more questions. Thank you. What's your last one?
I did Senate Bill 45 and Senate Bill 93, basically restricting the use of, this is the TikTok bill.
Okay. Ms. Hughley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a point of clarification where it says it prohibits one from visiting a platform that's controlled or influenced by a foreign adversary. So is it possible that there's something other than TikTok that someone could inadvertently visit and be in violation of this?
Yes, if you're a company that has any sort of 10% ownership of one of the foreign adversaries recognized by the United States federal government, then you're barred from that app or being on a state government device or a state-owned device in a K-12 setting.
So are there going to be screening mechanisms in place to help employees avoid visiting a site inadvertently, or they will have to know that on their own?
No, currently my understanding is the Georgia Technology Authority, state government, basically goes through and monitors the state devices in terms of all the work that they do from an IT perspective, and then also too in terms of updating the foreign adversary lists or any of that work will be done by the director of GEMA.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. One thing for the folks in the audience, no signs are allowed. Thank you. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're going to be discussing SB 160. It's in the middle of page 2. This is almost identical to HB 518. The only difference between House Bill 518 and Senate Bill 160 is there's a shorter sunset clause on this one. If you look at line 52, SB 160 has this beginning on January 1st, 2024 and ending on December 31st, 2026. The House version of that was scheduled to expire on December 31st, 2033. The SB 160 version is the version that the Department of Labor prefers. It's a shorter time frame.
Mr. Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is it not true this bill would underfund the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund by anywhere between $50 to $100 million by 2026?
That's not accurate, and I believe you may recall that we discussed that in committee, and that was discussed by the Labor Commissioner as being slightly inaccurate.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
That's
sir.
it. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. What's your bill number?
Senate Bill number 218. It's on the back side near the bottom, and even though it's on the bottom, sir, I don't take it personally.
Well, you are last on the list now, aren't you? Since we recommitted one right below you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Basically what this bill is for, inmates upon release from state prison, they're able to receive a driver's license or a state ID, and they'll also provide them a portfolio of any educational technical training they receive, such as a GED or welding. Basically what they're doing is codifying into law what they've been practicing, and it passed the Senate 56-0 with everybody voting for it. This bill was written by Rita Rocker, who's the Deputy Executive Director of Pardon Paroles for the state, Jay Sanders, who's the Assistant Commissioner for Inmate Services for State Prisons, and Sheriff Terry Norris, and from the Department of Driver Services, Shavonda Leslie, and I helped a little bit too. We ask for your favorable consideration, and thank you for the opportunity to present this bill.
Well, you know, I had planned to put your bill on tomorrow, but since you talk so long, named all those people that I don't know. So, okay.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
it. Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Tillery.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Morning.
Senate Bill 131, which you guys made easy to find, the top of page 2. It is a department bill. It tries to streamline dependency and guardianship hearings by making it clear who has to get service when these hearings happen. There's been some ambiguity in the law in the past. It also took a House rider from Chair Lady Ballinger to straighten up another matter. I think it's a good bill. Appreciate the House perfecting it.
All right. I don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. I am speaking to SB 199, which is on the middle of page 2. It is a bill that authorizes the Department of Administrative Services to provide state employees, including teachers, with the benefit of health savings accounts, which are different than health spending accounts in that you do not have to spend down at the end of each year, and they can be used as retirement vehicles as well. If all 11,500 of the employees that are currently enrolled in high deductible plans across the state saved about $1,500 each, It would save the state $1.5 million, and it would save those taxpayers $5 million.
Okay, no questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Are you part of the Burns caucus?
I am the senior member, Mr. Chairman.
Senior member,
Senior
okay.
member. Only in age, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. I would remind the committee that the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And I'm no longer last. We're going to talk about two quick bills. 107, to the bottom of the first page. This is a law that will protect children and Georgians while they take private swim lessons. It requires an aquatic safety plan. It's known as Izzy's Law. I'd appreciate your favorable consideration.
No questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The other bill is on the bottom of the second page, SB 213. This allows for continuing nonconformance when a property owner wishes to replace a manufactured or mobile home that with a new home within 12 months. It's an affordable housing bill. It's a property rights bill. I ask for your favorable consideration.
So what you're saying is if they're replacing the older mobile home with a new one, the new one is required to follow the same procedures and requirements as the older one, and they can't put any additional requirements on it?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Thank you for clarification.
No questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes.
No questions. Go ahead. Oh, you. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Does that relate also to when you're moving over and put a new unit in, the same septic system?
It does not require any change, of the code. They are allowed to continue nonconformance. I would suggest that if you're going to put a new unit in there, you're likely to upgrade the services that are a part of it, but it's not required.
Okay, that Mr. Martin.
One question begot another one. So we would do this. What if one had a non-conforming, non-manufactured home on a property that went their way because of a fire or something? Are they have to conform to new regulations, but the manufactured home doesn't? Why wouldn't we give them the same latitude?
I appreciate the chairman's question. This deals with manufactured or mobile homes. It does not necessarily deal with site-built homes. We'd certainly entertain that, but right now, non-conforming use would be grandfathered to allow that person to upgrade their home. They can change the roof, they can fix the air conditioning, but they can't replace it with a new home. Now again, this bill requires the replacement of an existing unit with a new unit within 12 months.
All right, no more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and committee. I'm here to present Senate Bill 211, and it's an honor for me to be in rules today. This is my first chance to be in this esteemed chamber.
You're right. It is an honor for you to be here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I recognize that really fast. Senate Bill 211 passed the House Subcommittee Education with no opposition, and also passed the House Education Committee with no opposition. This bill creates the Georgia Council on Literacy, and is patterned after Governor Nathan Deal's criminal justice reform bill. During the summer of last summer, I met, and Joy Hawkins met with over 58 school superintendents, and we found out that, as many of y'all know, our children are reading way below grade level. In fact, in the third grade in the state of Georgia, only 43.49% of our children are reading on grade level. What that means is 57% is not reading on grade level. So we're really approaching an epidemic on this. We didn't get like this overnight, and it's not going to be corrected overnight. So this bill actually forms a council that will study this for 3 years and come up with some recommendations by the governor. We worked very fortunate. We worked very hard with Representative Will Wade, Representative Bethany Ballard, Representative Becky Evans, and Governor Kemp's staff, Miranda, Brad, and Ian and Trey on this bill, to make sure that all of us agree. And more important, we made sure that in the House it got two great bills. House Bill 538, which will be heard in the Senate tomorrow, and House Bill 537, which did not make it over. But we met with them to make sure there was no conflicts in these bills, and there are none. The priority is we have got to save our children, and we got to build a educated workforce, and that's what this council would do. Thank you, sir.
Is this primarily from K through third grade?
No, sir, it's K through 12.
K through 12.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator, are you not a bit concerned about forming this council and saying they have 3 months to come back, 3 years to come back with a recommendation that it might be used as a way of not moving forward some programs that are known to work already? If a child cannot read for 3 years, you basically might as well write them off. And so I'm just concerned that this might be a way that some of the school systems could get away with not making changes.
Thank you, ma'am, for the question. Well, obviously, the extension this bill can be extended for another 3 years, but some of the primary focus of this bill is pre-K and K, because children do not have to go to pre-K or they do not have to go to K. You remember the minimum age for a child going to school now is 6 years old, 6 to 16. So you theoretically have got children that are not going to school for pre-K and K. Another portion, and there's many things we're going to look at, another thing we're going to look at, and this came from the chancellor, is our teachers really being taught how to teach children how to read coming out of universities?
Senator, I already know that, but I also know that we already know that teachers are not being taught how to do it. We know that we have a problem. I'm just concerned that we are not going to start doing something now. Thank you.
Can I address that? Can I?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I think, ma'am, if you will look, if you look at House Bill 538 that Representative Ballard is going to present, that will make some adjustments right now, and that will address the issues of science of reading, which will actually go back to phonetics and pronouncing words out. You know, when I came to school, we had short vowels and long vowels, and I think 538 addresses that.
Okay. Well, no more questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Don. Thank you.
Mr. Strickland.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
It's your first time here, too.
First time this year, yes, sir.
I'll tell you.
Maybe my last. Hopefully not. We'll see.
Well, let's all hope. So,
got a couple more things I'm working on.
I like you a lot, but Joe.
Well, halfway down your first page, Senate Bill 61, this just eliminates the sunset on our sick leave, family sick leave law that we passed. Actually, I care when I started with you guys, I think 6 years ago, that lets people use certain number of earned sick leave to care for other immediate family members that are also sick.
Well, I don't see any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Hufstedler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And we have passed 16 of the 24 bills that Chairman Blackman sent me. 6 are on today. He got over in our Rules Committee and said he passed all we sent him, and I said, yeah, he passed all 3 of them. So we don't send too much that way. Representative Drenner was at our meeting, and I told her we had to hold on her bill. There was a question. We solved the question. I'm sure you heard after you left we passed your bill. I thought you'd be okay with us passing it, but you're not there, but we did get it passed out as well. I've got 3 bills on today. One is a new one.
Senator, you need to tell somebody, more of you senators who are chairman, to do that.
I'll try to work on that.
Okay, thank you.
And we get the second most bills to judiciary. Chairman Strickland gets the most. He's number 1. He doesn't want to be number 1, but he is. The first bill, Senate Bill 47, is a very simple 1-page bill. I think there's a lot of problems with vaping and the 12 different cancers it can cause. But this, because multi-subject bills have all died, this does one thing and one thing only. It puts it in the Smoke-Free Act of 2005 in public places where it would be treated like anything else. And that's all it does. Doesn't expand those areas, just puts them in there with everything else.
See no questions.
All right. And then the 2 that I've talked about earlier on here, Senate Bill 164 is, we'll give a license. It's middle way down the back page. We'll give a license to advanced practice nurses. This right now, they only get the RN number. They want their own number. They came to me on this, and it also helps in multi-state compacts. Also, the separation out of the PAs from the anesthesia PAs is in there. Both went through GORC, both passed unanimously. I know the last time there was a question about the handicap placards not being on this, and my understanding is that that's on another bill, and that's been worked out, and everything is good on this.
Okay, Mr. Park.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Huffstetler, for Senate Bill 164, is it not true this bill includes the Anesthesiologist Assistant Act, which failed in committee in both the House and the Senate due to bipartisan concerns
No, actually,
related to public safety?
that didn't fail in committee. You might be thinking about the CRNA bill. The nurse anesthetist bill failed on both sides in committee. This is the PAs in anesthesia, of which I am one, and have not brought anything in 11 years. This is no scope of practice issue at all. It doesn't change it, but right now they have a completely separate training program from the regular PAs, and they want to be recognized as separate. Doesn't give them more scope of practice, anything like that. Just recognize them separately. I know there's confusion on that. Probably more anesthesia bills this year than in a while, but this one was unanimously through the GORC committee, unanimously through the health committee, and maybe had one or two no votes on the floor. I can't remember, but it's
In this bill, isn't this bill primarily just to give nurse anesthetists, PAs, and those kind a license?
A license, and not just nurse anesthetists,
Yeah.
but all types of advanced practice nurses.
Right.
It gives them a license and nothing else. This one is not to be confused with that other bill, which did have a scope of practice change in it.
Mr. Powell.
All right.
I want to thank the senator for bringing this. Isn't it true that this bill has got the same language that we passed with very high numbers out of the House earlier in the session that grants a license to the APRNs as opposed to just being given a certificate?
I think that's correct. The exact same bill that you might have even sponsored over here.
And I'm very grateful you put this on your agenda.
Thank you.
All right, no more questions.
And then the last one is two below that, Senate Bill 197, truth and transparency. If you're a doctor in the healthcare world, you have to say what kind of doctor you are, whether it's medicine or sociology or whatever it might be. Let the patient know who you are.
Is that the same bill that says if you're a PA, you have to tell them that you're a physician assistant and not a doctor?
You don't have to say that, and there was actually some language changed unless you are a doctor in your specialty.
Okay.
I mean, I always, when I go in and I see a patient, my name tag's there, I say I'm a physician assistant in anesthesiology, but this was changed to where it would only apply to people who are a doctor, have to say what kind of doctor they are.
Okay.
There was a concern on that issue, you're correct.
Okay, all right. Ms. Cooper.
But you still have to have it on your tag, what you are.
Correct.
Your name tag should say, and visibly for patients, that you're a nurse practitioner or you're a PA.
Right, you still have to identify yourself, but the main thing was that if you're a doctor, you have to say what kind of doctor you are so that everybody's fully aware.
Okay.
But I know of a case where somebody thought a gentleman thought he was going to the doctor all the time. You know, when he learned was a PA, put him off on getting another test for prostate cancer, said just wait till your next time. He got worried about it, went out and said, I want to see another doctor. And they said, well, you've been seeing a PA, not a doctor. And they found early prostate cancer when he saw the doctor. And so it's important that patients know who they're seeing. And it's still that way. Thank you.
And our chairman of rules over there calls himself a doctor, but you probably wouldn't want to be treated by him for medical reasons, I'm pretty sure. Caused by Dr. Brass, yeah.
Okay, one more question. Chairman Knight.
Thank you,
Let's
Mr.
just
Chairman.
settle. One more question here.
Friendly question, Senator. I know this code section is just putting this in a clinical setting, right? But oftentimes outside the clinical setting, when we have physicians that are dealing with health insurance companies and there are questions regarding the procedures, whether this is allowed or not allowed, it's not medical necessary, we often find that physicians working for these health insurance companies may be a child, a general, maybe pediatrician that's dealing with maybe an orthopedic surgeon. Would you be maybe help in the future with this? Because I think identifying these doctors between doctors could also, especially in the health insurance setting, could help our patients, especially when there's a debate on the medical necessity of a procedure.
I mean, I think, you know, that could be a problem too. I'm not the expert on language on how you craft that. Seems.
Well, I like your bill, good bill,
around.
good bill,
Okay.
and I think I see the reason of why you're doing it here.
Yeah.
You may need to expand it more.
All right, that's your last question.
Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy, I thought you had more clout than what you got in the back of the room.
Well, apparently I don't, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I'm sorry
All right.
about that. Good morning. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman. My apologies for my voice, and good morning to the committee. Bring to you SB 148, which is 4 down from the top on the second page. This is simply the Nonprofit Corporation Code rewrite. Our nonprofit code rewrite, our nonprofit corporation code, very closely mirrors the Business Corporation Code, which we have revised over the past 30 years, but the nonprofit corporation part of the code has not been. So for the last 3 years, several lawyers who are involved in working for and representing nonprofits have updated that code. It's gone through the State Bar of Georgia and the particular sections there that deal with the nonprofit code, and I present this to you as an updated, revised version of that for your consideration.
Okay, I don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to be with you.
Good seeing you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I think we've got some House members who are going to present a bill for the senator. Mr. Blackman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Senator Walker is under the weather and unable to make it today. He asked me to present Senate Bill 110, which would allow a voluntary contribution to law enforcement on your vehicle registration application.
Question for you. It's a $3 donation, correct?
Correct.
Does that go toward the salary of the sheriff, or does that go to the department, or does that go to the salaries of the deputies?
It would ultimately go to those deputies. It goes to the department, then to the Sheriff's Association, down to the Sheriff Department for the benefits or the salary of that law enforcement officers.
Officers, okay. All right. Any questions? No questions, thank you. Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, I just want to make sure, I know it was said it was for the deputies, but that's a lot of steps on the way to the bottom step and a lot of hunger on the other steps. Just want clarification that deputies will finally get a piece of it.
There is a limit as to what would be used for administrative.
I think it's 5%.
It is 5%.
All the rest goes toward the...
Would go directly to the officers and
Yeah, it's a 5% administrative fee, then all the rest goes toward the officers. Okay. Ms. Cooper.
Is that 5% at every step that they...
No, 5%.
Total?
Well, sometimes you push these buttons and nothing happens. We have to keep check of those who don't show up to present their bill, because if they don't show up to present their bill, it sits there until they do. So, all right. Remember, we recommitted 3 items. So now we will do the supplemental calendar for today. Under modified structure, Senate Bill 61, do I hear a move? It's on. Senate Bill 90, do I hear a move? Remember, Senate Bill 90 was sent back to rules Thursday from the House floor. It was recommitted to rules, so it is now back on the rules calendar for today. Senate Bill 93, do I hear a move? You got a move in a second, it's on. So that's the supplemental calendar for today, Senate Bill 61, 90, and 93. Okay, we'll set the calendar for tomorrow, and there's probably a good chance that we'll have a supplemental calendar for tomorrow also. All right, I hear a move on Senate Bill 1. It's on. Senate Bill 20. It's on. Senate Bill 47. It's on. Senate Bill 131. It's on. Senate Bill 148. It's on. Senate Bill 155. It's on. Senate Bill 1. Hold on. I can't read writing sometimes. Senate Bill 195. Do I hear a move? It's on. Senate Bill 213. Do I hear a move? It's on. Senate Bill 218. Do I hear a move? It's on. All right, let's read through those again. Yes, sir.
The chair's very fit. I had a question on Senate Bill 195. I don't remember the gentleman coming before it. It inadvertently deletes and replaces an entire code section that was in House Bill 155 that passed both the House and the Senate this year. If those bills aren't coordinating, isn't it true that the work that the House and the Senate passed to allow all of Georgians to get licensed by endorsement will be inadvertently deleted? So while the gentleman is moving forward the military expedited license, he will, unbeknownst to him perhaps, be backing up the rest of Georgians. So if we could hold that over and I could talk to the senator, I just don't recall him coming in here to ask him about
He was
that.
out sick.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll hold that for one day. Hold on. Okay, we will hold 195 for one day until we can get that question answered. Senate Bill 213 and Senate Bill 218. So that's the calendar for tomorrow. Senate Bill 1, 20, 47, 131, 148, 155, 213, and 218. That's the calendar for tomorrow, and probably expect a supplemental to go along with it. All right. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good day. See you on the House floor.